Imagine you live in a massive apartment building. You get along perfectly with the building manager, but you absolutely refuse to speak to any of your neighbors. What happens when the guy upstairs leaves his tap running and floods your ceiling? Or when someone blocks the shared hallway? The building manager can't fix everything. For the building to survive, the neighbors have to cooperate. India is basically a giant apartment building made up of 28 states and 8 union territories. We always hear about the relationship between the central government and the states. But what happens when two states start fighting? To stop the country from tearing itself apart, the constitution created a brilliant, invisible rulebook for teamwork. Welcome to our topic, interstate relations. Let's start with the biggest, most explosive argument two states can have: water. Rivers do not care about borders, they flow wherever they want. So, what happens when a river flows through two states and the state upstream decides to build a massive dam, leaving the state downstream completely dry? This could easily start a war. To solve this, the Constitution gave us Article 262. It allows the central government to set up a special ad hoc tribunal just for water disputes using the Interstate River Water Disputes Act of 1956. And here is the craziest part. Once this tribunal makes a decision, it is absolutely final. Parliament can actually make a rule saying that no court, not even the Supreme Court, is allowed to interfere. It forces the states to accept the ruling and share the water. But what if the argument isn't about water? What if it is about borders, or security, or economics? You can't take every single argument to a judge. Sometimes you just need people to sit in a room and talk it out. That is why Article 263 gives the President the power to create the Interstate Council. Following the advice of the famous Sarkaria Commission, this council was officially formed in 1990. Imagine the ultimate VIP meeting. The Prime Minister sits at the head of the table, joined by 6 Union Cabinet Ministers and every single Chief Minister in the country. This isn't a courtroom where someone is found guilty or innocent. It is a closed-door political forum where leaders advise each other, coordinate policies, and try to reach a peaceful consensus. Quick break. If you are loving this breakdown and want to master every single tricky concept in your syllabus just like this, hit that subscribe button right now. Thousands of students are learning with us every day, and we don't want you to fall behind. Let's go. Now, what about you, the ordinary citizen? Imagine you get married in Maharashtra, but when you move to Gujarat, the local government says, "We don't recognize this marriage certificate because it's from another state." That would be a nightmare. To prevent this, the Constitution has Article 261, which guarantees full faith and credit. This means that official public acts, records, and final civil court judgments from one state are legally valid everywhere in India. Just keep in mind, this only applies to civil matters, not criminal laws. Next, let's talk about money and business. Imagine you are a farmer driving a truck full of apples from Himachal Pradesh to Delhi. What if the Delhi government suddenly says, "We are banning your apples because we only want people to buy Delhi-grown apples"? If states did that, the Indian economy would collapse. Enter Article 301. It guarantees the absolute freedom of trade and commerce throughout the entire territory of India. State legislatures cannot randomly discriminate against goods from other states. The only exception is if there is a severe national emergency, like a massive scarcity of food, where the parliament has to step in and restrict trade to save lives. Finally, to make sure states don't just feel like random puzzle pieces forced together, the government decided to group them into families. The States Reorganization Act created 5 zonal councils: Northern, Central, Eastern, Western, and Southern. The Union Home Minister acts as the chairman for all of them. These aren't rule-making bodies, they are advisory groups. They look at natural river basins, cultural links, and economic needs, and help neighboring states plan together. Because the Northeast has very unique social and security needs, the government went a step further in 1971 and created a highly specialized group just for them, the Northeastern Council, which brings together 8 states to formulate a unified, powerful regional plan. Why do we have all these zones, councils, and tribunals? Because the ultimate goal of these groups is to kill regionalism, to stop people from thinking, my state is better than yours, and to build emotional integration. A country isn't just lines drawn on a map, it is a complex, delicate web of teamwork. From sharing river water to honoring a simple legal document, the true strength of India's federal system doesn't just come from the center ruling from the top. It comes from the states learning how to live, trade, and thrive side by side.